This is a small business issue, but I've seen this tank many small businesses. And that is what you called flush number 6, the financial firewall.
Oh, having come from the publishing world, working with publishers, selling advertising and all, one of the things that would drive me crazy is when you'd be putting together this marketing campaign for this business, and you would get to the end of it, and they would say, man, I love this. I need this for my business. But before I can do anything, I need to check with my wife. And, previously before that, you didn't realize the wife had anything to do with the company. Their finances are so intertwined between their personal life and their business life that financial pressures at home are affecting the decisions they make within their business. And those two have to be isolated. Now, obviously, when you're first starting out, when you're first getting going, those are the same. Every dime you make in the business has to go to pay your bills. And so that's just natural. But at some point, as the businesses grow, you got to separate those two. You have to be creating funds for the business that are to be used for the business and decisions made what's best for the business. Because the truth of the matter is, your goal is to reach a stage where whether or not you need a new dishwasher should not influence whether you buy this new piece of equipment that's going to help your business go to the next level. And so that firewall is really essential. The second thing that does is it prevents stresses relating to the business from bleeding into your home life. You want to be in a situation where you as a boss are treating you as an employee just like you would if it was somebody else. You're paying a fixed salary that takes all that pressure off. Suddenly, whether it's your husband or wife at home, you're not having to be worried about whether a client pays or whether you lose a contract or anything like that. That doesn't become dinner table conversation. Dinner table conversation is about the family and about the home life, and creating that clear barrier there really does create a much better work-life balance, and it allows you to make decisions for the business based on what's best for the business. And then the third thing it does is it prevents lifestyle creep. One of the things that happens over and over again when somebody gets started in business, their business starts to have some success. And what happens is the first thing they do is they buy a new truck or they buy a new house. Suddenly, their expenses at home are reflecting the growth of the business. And then the business hits a downturn. COVID happens or an economic downturn, and they no longer can support the life they're now living at home. And so you really want to protect yourself from that. The business is only going to grow when it's allowed to make decisions based on the business instead of outside personal factors.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some great advice. And I'll add 2 extensions to that. One, the issue of being able to separate, because the next sale doesn't depend on whether you can get your dishwasher fixed, let alone buy a new one. And the issue there is lack of working capital in a lot of businesses. At bootstrap startup time, we started my first company on 5 credit cards. Within 3 months, we'd raised $400,000 and we're off to the races. But you got to get out of that total bootstrap mode as quickly as possible and get an honest estimate of what the working capital needs of the business are that can absorb the inevitable, oh shit, this guy that owed me $25K went out of business. You have to be able to deal with the stress, have enough cash, enough financial wherewithal. It don't have to necessarily be cash, it could be a credit line from the bank, right? But you have to have the financial wherewithal to absorb shocks as quickly as possible. May not be possible on day one, but within, for instance, starting a company, I'm going to say within a year, I'm going to have adequate working capital in this business. And people often miss that one.
You want to ruin a weekend? Have that guy go out of business, owes you $25,000 on a Friday, and you don't have that financial barrier between home and work.